Player props here on PrizePicks for Monday, December 19th. Before I get started, there's a link in the description below to sign up for PrizePicks, or you can use promo code TUFF to sign up. PrizePicks will match 100% of your first deposit. There's also a Discord link in the description where the main server currently completely free. We do also have the Patreon link where I do post all the plays here that I'm making on PrizePicks for each given sport that I do play. NBA deep dive core analysis on Patreon, so go ahead and check out that link in the description below. I also do need to mention I'm not a gambling expert. This is not financial advice. These are simply just the plays I'm personally looking at making. Hopefully give you guys some insight and analysis to make your own player prop decisions here. But let's get into it. We have a pretty decent sized slate today. I believe 9, maybe 10 games here on the slate. There also is a ton of props not on the board yet. But I'm going to give 2 plays here that I do like. I guess technically I'm giving 3 plays, but 2 plays that I do like on this slate here. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. So the first one I like is actually 2 plays for 1 player, but I really like Sabonis first half fantasy score over 23.5, and then I also really like his over rebounds at 12.5. The only reason I like fantasy score more is first half fantasy score more is because the Kings are 10-point home favorites here, 241 over under. 10-point home favorites. I just like this a little bit more just because this could be a blowout. It's really been so many blowouts in the NBA lately. The Hornets coming off a back-to-back here on the road. I don't know how close this game's going to remain. But I'm giving 12.5 rebounds. I'll talk about this one first. First off, it's minus 150 on DraftKings, minus 135 on BetMGM, minus 148 on Caesars, over 12.5. We just saw, look at this line from Jokic. Look at 40, 27, and 10. Jokic had 40, 27, and 10 against Charlotte just yesterday, right? The Charlotte Hornets giving up 16.5 rebounds to centers, and Sabonis is second in the NBA at 20.4 rebounding chances. 20.4 rebounding chances this season, right? So, Jokic is at, 16.5, and he had 27 rebounds. Sabonis at 20.4 rebounding chances. 12.5 seems like a pretty attainable line for Sabonis here in this game. And we take a look at this. Sabonis just had 20 rebounds against Toronto, 13 rebounds against Detroit. So I like 12.5 rebounds here for Sabonis if this game can remain close. Obviously, this is a little bit more of a lean play. So, again, tail this one lightly if you are planning on tailing, just because I don't know how close this game could remain. But although Sabonis could hit this in the first half. But I'm taking 23.5 fantasy score for Sabonis in the first half here against Charlotte. If we take a look at this, over his last 5, he's hit this 3 of 5, but his 2 misses are 22.9 and 23 against Detroit. But I like this play for a few reasons. One, the Charlotte Hornets giving up the most fantasy points to centers at 60.6 fantasy points to centers. We take a look at this centers first half fantasy score game log, right? Look at these last couple games, right? So Jokic had 40 fantasy points in the first half. Embiid down here had 40. Mitchell Robinson here had 25.2. Brook Lopez had 22. Rudy Gobert had 19. Karl Anthony Towns had 21. Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley both had 27, 28 fantasy points in that first half against Charlotte. Just been able to really target centers here against Charlotte all season long. And if we take a look at Sabonis' first half fantasy score game log, he's hit this, right? So let's just take a look at the actual cashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of his last, and he had 1, 2, 3, 4 misses. So 8 of his last 12 first half games, he's hit the over on this at 23.5. Just an absolute terrific matchup with an extremely high over under. Again, I'm taking first half just because of the risk of blowout. 10-point home favorites. 10-point home favorites. That's pretty bad. So again, I'm taking first half just because of the potential blowout here, and there has been so many blowouts in the NBA. But I'm giving these 2 plays here. Obviously, depending on which one you like more, I would say, if this game remains close, the 12.5 rebounds is safer. But I just think first half here, Sabonis should have his way with the Hornets. He's been playing super well as of late. So I'm taking this one here, 23.5 fantasy score first half. So these are the first 2 plays here that I'm making. We'll give a second play, their NBA first half prop here. We're going to go with Donovan Mitchell over 13.5 points against his former team, the Utah Jazz. Now, taking a look at this, 3 of his last 5 games has missed this, 13 and 18 here in his last 2. Tough matchup against Dallas, had 13 here against Indiana. But previously before that, had hit this 3 of his last 3. This game is being played in Cleveland. Cleveland is 6-point home favorites here. The Jazz 17 and 15. Cleveland is 20 and 11. But I don't like to do, player props based on anecdotal or game script or stories. But Donovan Mitchell facing the team that did trade him away. Apparently, he's been quoted on saying that he did not want to be traded away. They did trade him away to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, again, revenge type of game here for Donovan Mitchell. But that is not necessarily why I like this prop. We actually saw his full game points jump from 26.5 to 27.5 to now 28.5. So, I mean, taking over on this one would be 29 points here. But his first half prop has not really changed from 13.5. So, I mean, 13.5, we're looking at 14. That combined is 28. So, a little bit of a discount here on the first half prop, which is why I'm taking the first half one here. Utah Jazz give up the 5th most points per game to the shooting guard position. Donovan Mitchell on the season right here, he's missed this line right in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 times in 27 games. Right, 9 times in 27 games here. So we're looking at 18 of 27 games this season. He has hit the over on this of 14 points in that first half here. Like I said, the Jazz do give up a ton of points to shooting guards, but similar players to Donovan Mitchell offensively. Anthony Simons just on December 3rd had 33 first half points against the Utah Jazz, and Jordan Poole just a couple days after that had 21 first half points against the Utah Jazz. You can make a case that Anthony Simons has a very, very similar offensive game to Donovan Mitchell, being able to drive to the basket as well as shoot the three. We take a look at this. The Utah Jazz giving up the most points in the paint, right? 56 points in the paint that the Utah Jazz are giving up. And Donovan Mitchell, if we take a look at this, Donovan Mitchell here, 13.9 drives per game, right? 13.9. And Anthony Simons should not be too far away from him. Let's see. So 13.9 here for Donovan Mitchell. Let's see. Simon's looking at 8.1. So he was able to get to the basket. I mean, he gets to the basket 8.1% of the time, or 8.1 times per game. Utah Jazz giving the most points in the paint, and Donovan Mitchell drives to the basket 5 more times per game than Anthony Simons. So I really like this play here. I just think revenge game here for Donovan Mitchell. Jazz giving up a ton of points to the shooting guard position. We've targeted players against the Utah Jazz, especially 2 guards, to score points here. I just think Donovan Mitchell comes out here, puts the ball in the basket, plays extremely aggressive against the team that traded him away here. We're seeing a ton of juice. Earlier when this full game points line was at 27.5. So many people obviously were taking the over, which is why it bumped up. But we haven't seen the first half prop change at all. So I'm taking the over on Donovan Mitchell, 13.5 points in the first half here. So overall, we got Sabonis 23.5 fantasy score first half. We got his over 12.5 rebounds for the full game here as a lean play, if you like it. And then I like Donovan Mitchell over 13.5 points in the first half as well. These 3 player props here are essentially 2. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about these. Drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let's cash.